Oh, it's been a while. Um, I've been working on stuff in the background. I haven't really sat down to record anything, and I've been preoccupied with just the state of the world. Yeah. But I'm back now, so I'm gonna make a thing. So I had a realization. Strahd is just Homelander from the TV show The Boys. I know there's a comic, but I'm specifically talking about Homelander from the TV show. You know, Anthony Starr, like that guy. Strahd should just be that. Let me explain. So, a little bit of background information. Strahd von Zarovich is the titular character of the Curse of Strahd 5th edition campaign book. He is the ruler, or ruler, depending on how you look at it, of Barovia, which is a pocket plane that just kind of sucks. It's really not good. Strahd is shown on the cover in the typical cool and suave guy fashion, like holding a wine glass, looking really calm and in control. So if you haven't seen the glorious bastard, like villain archetype video from Overly Sarcastic Productions, go watch it. You'll see what I mean. He's the cool, wine drinking, suave, in control, badass who doesn't really need to lift a finger. And his whole shtick is that he's just kind of above it all. Like, ooh, don't offend my sensibilities. I'm too cool and powerful to be bothered by you. Like, that's how he's seen. A little bit of backstory on Strahd, just to keep us all on the same page. Strahd was a warrior and a conqueror many, many years ago. He actually discovered Barovia while conquering the land, wherever he was before that. I don't really know, it doesn't matter. But he was conquering the land, and he basically fell in love with the beauty of Barovia, the hills and the roaming mountains and the trees and everything. It was just a beautiful place, so he's like, well, I want to fucking live here. So he just claimed a spot and set up his real estate. You know, most people would kind of consider that like a dick move, very colonial settler. I could, like, yeah, but that is the least of the dumb bullshit things that he does. Anyway, so Strahd actually has a younger brother. His name is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what his brother's name is. He has a brother who helped him conquer stuff, and he matters because his younger brother had a really cool woman by the name of Tatiana. So Tatiana is the not really yet spouse of Strahd's brother. So, you know, they were going to probably be happy together. And I say going because, you know, Strahd, king of the night, incel lord that he is, had a thing for Tatiana and was like, wait, I want her to be my wife slash GF. And what are you doing? Do you want to talk about Strahd? No? Okay. Anyway, instead of taking rejection on the chin like a normal human being, Strahd formed a plan. And I'm sure you can see where this is starting to go. Well, so he does a dark ritual to contact the dark plane of the Shadowfell to form a dark pact, and he's trying to make a pact to become immortal. Like, that's what he wants. But I don't really know how he kind of puts the pieces together here. Like, he wants to be immortal to hopefully woo Tatiana. I think that's what he wants. It's kind of a roundabout way to go about it, but I don't know. So, for this dark pact to actually take effect, there was a stipulation that Strahd, I guess, was okay with in the terms and conditions, and it was to kill your brother, Sergei. Oh my god, his name is Sergei. Sergei. That's the brother. Sergei and Tatiana. Doesn't really matter. So, Sergei is destined for bad things because Strahd is who he is, and Sergei is not in the campaign, but whatever. Anyway. So Strahd accepted this whole dark pact, and he was like, I'm on board to kill my brother. He does do this on Sergei and Tatiana's wedding day, while they are about to do, like, the finished the ceremony. Like, they're going to do the I do and kiss. Strahd does the bad thing. He kills his brother, he drinks his blood, and that seals the Dark Pact, which leads us to how he became a vampire. So Tatiana is understandably upset and also very freaked out and afraid. So she runs. She's literally like, I have to get away. He is like a fucking monster. So she starts running. And Strahd is like, oh, I have to go get her because she's mine. Like, Sergei's dead, so who's she gonna marry now? It must be me. So he chases her. And they're doing the ceremony in Strahd's castle, which is also kind of Sergei's castle, sorta, but like not really. But Tatiana is being chased by Strahd throughout Strahd's big old castle. And the chase ends when Tatiana gets to the roof and Strahd gets there behind her and she has no other recourse and no other options, so she just jumps. She just over the edge. The sun just went behind the clouds and now it's really dark. I don't know if this will affect the camera, but if it just seems dark for some reason, that's why. So after Strahd chased her over the edge, he was stricken with grief because he is a loser and he doesn't understand that killing the husband or prospective husband of a woman does not like free her up in the way that he would hope. And so when she died, Strahd got really sad about it and then became obsessed about it. So this is sort of how Barovia becomes like the pocket plane, like the collective dark shit and the sealing of the Dark Pact and all the trauma kind of sucks Barovia into a little suck hole. And it's just bad. What are you doing? My cat just they don't want me to record. They just want to like rub their face on stuff and make noise. So they're in a pocket plane now, and one of the like bad parts about Barovia is if you die in Barovia, there are cities here too. There are like little towns and areas that like have life brewing that are near the castle that are sealed in this pocket plane. But one of the main problems is that now that it is a little pocket plane, if you die there, your soul can't get out. So it just finds a spot to go back to in a new body, in a new person who's born, and you are reincarnated. It's kind of a toss-up whether or not you have the memories of who you were before. Usually you don't, but, extenuating circumstances, maybe you end up with them. Who knows? Who cares? But now you know Strahd's backstory, so we're caught up to the present. Strahd rules over Barovia with an iron fist. He spies on people who say his name. He pulls people into his pocket dimension. That's literally how the campaign starts. He isekais player characters into his little suck hole. Just because he can. Just because he likes to bother people. He's got an ego problem, which is very evident. He demands citizens worship him. He puts on the facade of friendliness and decorum while maintaining his obviously monstrous nature as a blood-sucking vampire aristocrat. He's incredibly vain. He's incredibly powerful. He's incredibly selfish, sociopathic, narcissist, navel-gazer who lives in a world filled with misery and problems that are entirely self-inflicted as a result of his own actions and his unchecked ego. That's Strahd. Now, Homelander is the all-American Superman. His cape is a flag. Like, we're way past subtlety here. He was originally a Superman allegory created by writer Garth Ennis and artist Derek Robertson, and he was adapted for Amazon Prime Video by Eric Kripke and portrayed by Anthony Starr. I didn't read the comics. I read a little bit of them because I was curious, and I feel like they kind of suck. Maybe that's just me. If you're like a comic stan, that's cool. I'm going to talk about the TV show. So I don't care about the comics. Sorry. Anyway, Anthony Starr is the best portrayal of Homelander and he's so good at being a kind of sociopath. Would you stop rubbing your head on the tripod, dude? Okay, anyway, let's do a little bit of backstory on Homelander now, just so, again, we're on the same page. Unlike in the comics, the Amazon show keeps most of Homelander's backstory kind of shrouded in mystery. At least at the time I wrote this, it was still kind of shrouded in mystery. But what we do know, at least what we knew when I wrote this, which was a while ago, Homelander was raised in a lab. He has a couple of flashbacks that reveal he was originally called John, and he was raised in a sterile environment by Vought scientists that was led by Dr. Jonah Vogelbaum. His upbringing in this lab was pretty much just abuse. He was subjected to harsh experiments, he was deprived of love and affection, which kind of likely shaped his sociopathic personality. His creation is tied to Compound V. Compound V, in the fiction, is an experimental chemical substance that, when injected into an adult, provides temporary, seemingly random superpowers. When it's injected into a child, it does the same thing, but it can make them permanent. If you're doing it as an adult, it's temporary, and it can lead to, like, super cancer, basically. Anyway, it's implied that Homelander was directly created with Compound V when he was a kid, and he got really lucky with the fucking superpowered, like, Wheel of Fortune. Like, he hit the giga jackpot, because he's got all the fucking Superman powers. His birth father, or semen donor, is a superhero named Soldier Boy. Not that Soldier Boy. But the implications of this are weird and far-reaching, and I'm not here to theorize about Homelander's, like, fucked up family or his fucked up dad. We're here for, like, the TTRPG shit. So that's most of Homelander's backstory high points. This is just the high points. Homelander at the start of the show and up to current is incredibly vain, he's incredibly powerful, he's incredibly selfish, he's a sociopathic narcissist navel gazer who lives in a world filled with misery and problems that are partly self-inflicted and are a result of his actions and unchecked power and ego. Okay, look, I'll level with you. I know it's not exactly one-to-one here. Homelander isn't trapped in a pocket plane, and thus all of his problems are not portrayed as inherently tied back to him. A large part of his conflicts in the show are problems that are created by systemic issues, like large pharmaceutical companies and unethical scientific treatment and just war profiteering. Like, Homelander can't be at fault for those. That's not his fault that those things happened to him. And it's not his fault that he was abused when he was a child. But would you... This is Winchester. I don't know if I mentioned him in another video, but here he is again. Homelander can't be blamed for the abuse he suffered as a child. He can't be blamed for the systemic issues that led to this abuse. And, you know, these scientists also can only hardly be blamed because they're operating under a profit incentive in a pharmaceutical company that's a war machine. So, like, nothing about this is entirely Strahd's fault, but as an adult, Homelander is at fault for some of the terrible fucking things he does that kind of come back to bite him in the ass. And if you don't think Homelander would absolutely ruin things in his own world and create a pocket plane if he were in a fantasy universe, I mean, I don't think we're watching the same show, dude. Like, Homelander is wild. And this is what interests me the most. The similarities that exist between Homelander and Strahd von Zarovich. I commonly see other RPG stories where DMs depict, or try to depict, Strahd as a haughty, intellectual, vampire, rich, cool guy, someone who is above it all, and who looks down his nose at the player characters, and that is fucking boring. It's done to death, and I'm thoroughly convinced that 90% of player characters who are introduced to Strahd in this way are absolutely not sold on his demeanor or his I'm cool bullshit vibe. It just doesn't work. Like, most player characters are going to see that and immediately think he's dumb and not respect him at all or respect his power. I've seen players die with the spiteful, like, I will never respect you, and then they get completely axed and they died not respecting him. It's hard to sell to people that he's supposed to be cool and suave because this is a power fantasy. D&D is a power fantasy. Even in Strahd's campaign, even in Curse of Strahd, where it's like the dark, edgy, realistic D&D setting, it's still a power fantasy. So this is it. Strahd is not cool. He's a desperate, lonely, fucked up loser. He wants a dead woman to love him forever, even though he got her killed. He stalks the woman who is the reincarnation of her soul. He kidnaps her regularly when she just walks out. Like, it's a thing that happens so routinely that it's not like a fucking alarm whenever she gets swooped out of her bed and dropped off in the castle, and he's like, "Do you love me yet?" And she, of course, doesn't, because she's not fucking crazy. A common piece of writing advice is show, don't tell, and if we examine Strahd's life with that in mind, we're consistently and only shown moments where he is entitled and creepy and desperate and sad and angry. In the actual campaign, Strahd literally disguises himself and follows after the party as like a secret identity, and he just listens in because he's insecure. He's literally like following them around and seeing like what they say about him behind his back. Not to mention the fact that anyone who says his name, he can just spy on them. Like, this is super desperate behavior. He just wants to be loved, and he's just like that. So, like, my point is if you're a DM and you're going to run Curse of Strahd, which you should, it's good. Here's my advice to you. Don't try and code Strahd as the cool and suave, in control, glorious bastard. Unless you're going to do the extra legwork of rewriting his whole backstory to be way more actually cool and suave and not the cringe era, like, desperate, sad behavior that he has, just do this instead. Roleplay him like Homelander in the show. He's desperate for affection. He wants his love to love him back. Lean into the creepy factor, the stalky factor. A good villain is not always someone who is cool and suave, but rather a villain who is fun to hate. Lean into it. Make it fun to hate Strahd rather than, like, just relentlessly mock him. Make him not a glorious bastard, just a regular bastard. The entire pocket plane of Barovia is built to reinforce his own faults back onto him, but what would be more interesting is if he tried to be heroic, if Strahd wanted to make amends for things and kept failing as a result of his own problems that initially caused Barovia to be the way that it is in the first place. And then it, like Homelander, fell out from under him, and it just didn't work. And so he became cynical and cruel and petty. And, you know, the part of this whole, like, thought experiment that I had came from the scene, you know, the scene where Homelander, like, finds some milk and, like, he warms it up with his heat vision and then, like, sups it like a fucking weird animal. Like, that scene, like, Strahd would absolutely do that if he had a vial of frozen Tatiana blood. He would warm it up with magic and he would sup at it like a fucking freak. And if you don't think that's true, you're wrong.